Hello there, my delicious darlings, and a warm welcome back to the channel. I hope you're in good spirits this evening. I ask, because tonight's episode has something to do with spirits, but not the ones that are sold in a pub. Today's episode is about ghosts and how they sometimes connect with our world. Tread carefully, for although some spirits are benign, everything is not always what it seems. So, grab your snuggly blankets and your hot drinks, cuddle your pets, and settle down to hear about ghosties and ghoulies. May the poems haunt you pleasantly. There. When my mother was a child, she saw upon the stair, amongst the shadows and the dust, a man who wasn't there, but that was many years ago, and she no longer dreads the thought of climbing up the stairs. Now it is me, instead, who has to watch his narrow face as he leers down at me. The thing in black still isn't there, and mother cannot see. Ghost tag. We used to play tag in between the tombstones. In the short evenings of the autumn time, we ran and laughed between the tall slabs of stone as they glistened with the night's sparkling rime. I remember my friends' voices calling out, their laughter floating through the chilly air. Sometimes there would be yelps and high, giddy screams as each kid gave another one a scare. We used to play tag in between the tombstones until they found me in the light of day, in a small copse hidden just behind a crypt, where a tall stranger had led me away. I was so young then, foolish too, I suppose. I should have been shocked an adult had come to the small cemetery between our homes, where we rough kids had always played alone. Instead, I trusted him as I would a friend, giggling when he made shush signs at me. It was too late when, in the sheltered clearing, I realized the harm he meant to me. I was found naked, dead, curled in a half-grave. My friends, who had loved me, repented sore that they'd assumed I'd walked home alone early, when I'd never done such a thing before. We used to play ghost tag between the tombstones. But now, without help, I wander alone, in the close-up arena of monuments, closed off by fences from all I'd once known. Now I, a ghost, drift in between the tombstones. And, though I'm sad, I don't pray to be free, for I, myself might be a danger now, if the children of the town played tag with me. Just knock. Just knock upon the gravestones, if you want the dead to wake. Oh, it will only work tonight. Do not make the mistake of calling the departed on a hot day in July, or, angered by the loud alarm, they'll seek to make you cry. But tonight is All Hallows Eve, and now the restless dead keep their ears pricked to hear a rap above their loamy bed. And, should they listen to you knocking, they'll open their eyes. Now is the point. You must be brave. What you will see arise is not the same beloved one you laid in earth to sleep. They will have put on their old flesh, clothed in foul things that creep. They'll push up from the wormy earth to greet you happily. Remember, you must stand your ground, for, if you turn to flee, the buried instinct of the dead will prompt them to give chase. And in their eyes, the person that they know will be replaced with something they must track and hunt, must tear at and bear down. Those who raise up the dead and flee will not after be found. So when they rise, hold your courage and face them with good cheer. So they will know a kindred soul has called them to be here. From then on, you have 6 hours to ask what you would know. Before the dead need rest again, and to their graves must go. What may you ask? Why, what you will. The dead have eyes that see and ears that hear, much that goes on. Only these questions, 3, you must avoid. You must not ask when and how you will die. Do not ask them to take a life, unless you wish to fry. Do not ask them what they have seen, beyond the mortal veil. Ask any other question, and you surely will not fail. One more warning. To wake the dead, you knock upon their graves. That requires grit and courage, but you cannot just be brave. You must be careful if you would escape an early end. Please hear me, for I do not jest. I say this as a friend. While you ask your questions, keep a wary eye on the time. 6 hours you have, no moment more. When the hour starts to chime, that marks the 6th from when they rose. Then bid the dead goodbye. Thank your loved one for all their help and urge them not to cry. Then, as hard as it may be, you must walk briskly away. Do not look back, not once, or with the dead you will remain. So knock upon the gravestones if you wish the dead to wake. But if you do, keep to the rules for your survival's sake. Going home. Tomorrow, I'll come home again, though people will not see my footsteps when I tread the path. At least I will be free to walk the well-known halls of home, to hear the cheerful song of the birds that sing in the trees, and smell the floral throng that scents the air by the window, near where my true love lies. I'll pause beside the cradle where my baby daughter cries. Tonight, I'm going home again. I cannot hide my joy. I will be close to those I love. I'll see my little boy. It's October the 30th. There is one day to go until the time that I go home, though nobody will know. The she who passed away. The woman stands beside the old school playground and watches the small children run and play. Most do not see, but many sense a cold breeze. Where stands the one called she who passed away? The children like to trade stories between them of vampires and monsters that are green. The stories change with every new retelling, except the one of the Lady Anna Lee. In the whole town, Anna Lee was the fairest. She was yet young, barely a woman grown, and yet she'd already known a lover's bed, and was to have a baby of her own. Now, at that time, many cruel wars were raging. Most didn't know why they were happening, but poor Anna Lee was captured by foul men to be amusement for their aging king. What happened to her there, I don't care to say. But in time, Anna Lee lost the baby. Nobody who has not felt such a loss can hope to understand her black agony. Anna Lee decided that she would bring down the house of him who'd cost her baby girl. She would find a way, however difficult, and would set to flame his entire world. 6 weeks later, Anna Lee walked from the flames that were devouring the king's hide. It had been so easy for her in the end. She'd simply hidden some matches inside the king's bedroom. That night, while he slept deeply, she bound the wicked bastard to his bed. She set the fire. Nobody guessed she'd done it. they saw the king's sweet pleasure slave instead. The death of the cruel king ended the war, and Anna Lee was able to go again, back to the village that she had grown up in. But even that could not undo her pain. She lived long. While she had no more new babies, she was the defender of every child and every youngling born there in the village. She was the friend of young teenagers wild and little girls who fought with their young parents. She learned to heal and teach and did such good that she became the go-to helper for all who needed to be held or to be understood. It was 100 years before she expired, but Anna Lee could not bear to away. She stayed where she was, watching all the children, moving through the village as a mist gray. So ghostly, Anna Lee remains in her home. She is most often by the schoolyard scene, the ghostly all-mother meant to defend them, even though the kids think her a dream. Subscribe to become a delicious darling. So, what do you think of our ghostly tales? Did they scare you? Do you feel a shiver as you look around your room tonight? Do the shadows all look darker? Well, I have some comfort for you there. From my studies, I have learned that ghosts are seldom malevolent. I won't say never. Ghosts are people, after all, and people come in many varieties. Still, for the most part, any ghost you encounter will be benign. Today's word, for those who watched the whole episode, is specter. Write it in the comments and tell me whether you have ever seen a ghost. Now is the usual part of the episode, where I ask you to hit like or follow, and click the notification bell to become an official delicious darling. I am going on a ghost hunt tonight. Don't worry, I'll pray before going to make sure no wandering spirits attempt to follow me home. For all of you, I wish you a peaceful evening with plenty of soft cushions and warm kitty cuddles. Sleep well, my delicious darlings.